Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'd. This is Hadith number 30 from the chapter of patience, chapter number 3 in Riyadh us-Saliheen. Suhaib radiyallahu anhu reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "There lived a king before you, and he had a court magician. As the magician grew old, he said to the king, 'I have grown old, so send me a young boy in order to teach him magic. The king sent him a young boy to serve the purpose. And on his way to the magician, the young boy met a monk to whom he used to listen to and learn from. It became his habit that on his way to the magician, he would meet the monk and sit there and would come to the magician late. The magician used to beat him because of this delay. So he complained about this to the monk, who said to him, 'When you feel afraid of the magician, say, members of my family detained me. And when you fear your family, say, the magician detained me.' So it so happened that there came a huge beast, and it blocked the way of the people. And the young boy said, 'I will know today whether the magician or the monk is better.' He picked up a stone and said, 'O Allah, if the way of the monk is dearer to you than the way of the magician, bring about the death to this animal so that the people may be able to move freely.' He threw that stone at it and killed it, and the people began to move about freely. He then came to the monk and told him the story. The monk said, 'Son, today you are superior to me. You have come to a stage where I feel that you would be soon put to a trial. And in case you are put to a trial, do not reveal about me.' That young boy began to heal those born blind and the lepers, and he, in fact, began to cure people from all kinds of illnesses. When a courtier of the king who had gone blind heard about him, he came to him with numerous gifts and said, 'If you cure me, all these things will be yours.' He said, 'I myself do not cure anyone. It is Allah, the Exalted, alone who cures. And if you affirm faith in Allah, I shall also supplicate to Allah to cure you.' This courtier affirmed his faith in Allah, and Allah cured him. He came to the king and sat by his side as he used to sit before. The king said to him, 'Who restored your eyesight?' He said, 'My Rubb.' Thereupon he said, 'Do you have another Lord, another Rubb besides me?' He said, 'My Rubb and your Rubb is Allah.' So the king kept torturing him until he revealed the young boy. The young boy was thus summoned, and the king said to him, 'O boy, it has been conveyed to me that you have become so much proficient in your magic that you cure the blind and the leper, and you do such and such.' Thereupon he said, 'I do not cure anyone. It is Allah alone who cures.' And the king took hold of him and began to torture him until he revealed the monk. The monk was summoned, and it was said to him, 'You should turn back from your religion.' But he refused. The king sent for a saw and placed it in the middle of his head and cut him into two parts that fell apart. Then the courtier of the king was brought forward, and it was said to him, 'Turn back from your religion.' He too refused, and the saw was placed in the middle of his head, and he was torn into two parts. Then the boy was sent for, and it was said to him, 'Turn back from your religion,' and he refused. The king then handed him over to a group of his soldiers and said to him, 'Take him to such and such a mountain, make him climb up that mountain, and when you reach its peak, ask him to renounce his faith. If he refuses to do so, push him to his death.' So they took him and made him climb up the mountain, and he said, 'O Allah, save me from them in any way you like.' And the mountain began to shake, and they all fell down dead, and that young boy came walking back to the king. The king said to him, 'What happened to your companions?' He said, 'Allah has saved me from them.' He again handed him to some of his other soldiers and said, 'Take him and carry him in the boat, and when you reach the middle of the sea, ask him to renounce his religion. If he does not renounce his religion, throw him into the sea. So they took him and he said, "O Allah, save me from them." The boat turned upside down and they all drowned except for the young boy who came back walking to the king. The king said to him, "What happened to your companions?" He said, "Allah has saved me from them." And he said to the king, "You cannot kill me until you do what I tell you to do." The king said, "What is it?" He said, "Gather all the people in one place and tie me up to the trunk of a tree. Then take an arrow from my quiver and say, 'In the name of Allah, the Rubb of the boy,' then shoot me. If you do that, you'll be able to kill me." The king called the people in an open field and tied the young boy to the trunk of a tree. He took out an arrow from his quiver, fixed the bow, and said, "In the name of Allah, the Rubb of the young boy." He then shot the arrow and it hit the boy's temple. The young boy placed his hand upon the temple where the arrow had hit him and died. The people then said, "We believe in the Rubb of this young boy." The king was told, "Do you see what you were afraid of? By Allah, it has taken place. All the people have brought Iman." The king then commanded that trenches be dug and fire lit in them and said, "He who would not turn back from his," meaning the young boy's religion, "throw him into the fire, or he would be ordered to jump into it." They did so till a woman came with her child. She felt hesitant in jumping into the fire. The child said to her, "O mother, endure or have patience in this cause, for you are on the right path." This is narrated by Muslim. Brothers and sisters, this was a story that the Prophet, actually this was a verse, this was a surah, Surah Al-Buruj, that was revealed, and the Prophet ﷺ gave tafsir of this. This was revealed in the time of Makkah when the Muslims were being persecuted in Makkah. So you could imagine how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes to the aid of His believers in different ways. The people of Makkah were being tortured, they were being abandoned, they were being sanctioned, they were being cut off, and they were being physically tortured, some of them with fire and others with similar to fire, such as being dragged on the hot sand of Makkah and so on. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Surah Al-Buruj, and the Prophet ﷺ gave them this story in order to help them overcome some of the difficulties that they are going through. Sometimes, as Muslims living in the 21st century, we seek comfort and solace when we hear the stories of our pious predecessors and the Sahaba going through something similar to what we may be going through. So if someone has slandered you, if someone has taken away your right, if someone has accused you of something, where do you think you're going to find solace and comfort? Of course, you're going to find it first in the Quran, in the verses where Allah, He speaks about having reliance upon Him and having patience towards Him and seeking His assistance through prayer and patience and so on. And second, you're going to find it in the stories of the prophets. For example, some people may not be able to have any kids, and so what is he going to do? He's going to read the stories of most of the prophets. They weren't able to have any kids. Or, for example, someone may be accused of lying and slander. What is he going to do? He's going to read the stories of the prophets who were also accused of zina, wal-'iyadhu billah. They were accused of theft. Their character was assassinated by the people in order to detract the Muslims and their followers from following them. So these stories, we need to take lessons from them. And every single time, when we hear these stories, we connect with them at a different level. I can say for a fact that all of us, we have read or we have heard the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, which is one of the most beautiful stories in the Quran. And probably most of us have read or heard that story from beginning till end more than once. And every single time when we read it, you connect with it at a different level and in a different light. Why? Because maybe you are going through something, and so now you are trying to find, you're searching. And Allah has placed some of the answers in that particular surah. And so the prophets and the Sahaba, they were going through these tortures, so Allah gave them these types of stories to tell them, look, you're not the only one who's going through. True success is that which you die upon the principles and the iman that Allah has given you with patience. That's true success. I want us to all change. Remember, I've said from day one or week one that we need to change our definition of so many different words. Who's a failure, who's successful, and so on. What is true success? True success, yeah? What is true success? True success is not that you achieve the outcome of your objective. No. Who says that? For example, in the da'wah, how do we determine someone who is successful in da'wah? Because he has many followers? Because he has many followers? Because he has 1,000 people became Muslim? No, that's not necessarily. It could, if he's doing that, it may be a sign that he's successful. No, true success is if Allah accepts it from you, even if they kill you, even if no one becomes a Muslim from you, even if you have 0 followers. What's the proof? On the Day of Judgment, you have prophets who will come 1 or 2 followers, and they've been doing this work of da'wah for years in the best methodology that Allah taught them, and yet only 1 or 2 or no followers. The Prophet ﷺ never realized Islam being spread beyond Hijaz. He wasn't alive to see it, but he was successful in his da'wah. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ. Allah reveals Surah Al-Fath even when the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, which prevented him from going for Umrah, which he set out with a whole bunch of Sahaba. Allah called that Inna fatahna laka fatham mubina. This is a true success. And the Sahaba are wondering, how is this a success? But the Prophet ﷺ helped them to understand what is true success. True success is you stick to your religion and your belief, even if the whole world is against you. Even if you die or are killed or whatever. That is true success. Even if no one becomes a Muslim, you believe in Allah and you قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ. That was the first hadith I mentioned in this masjid. First hadith I mentioned in this masjid, قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ. Say you believe in Allah and you have istiqamah. Istiqamah and sabr, they go hand in hand. So, in this hadith, you have this boy. We know from it we can take so many benefits. Number one of the benefits is that the concept of calling people towards Allah. You see this boy, every time they are saying, oh, we heard you could do it. He said, no, I cannot do it. Only Allah can do it. He's always attributing goodness to Allah. He's always saying, Allah is the one who can cure, not me. When I was in Malaysia, sometimes I used to go to the doctors, they used to give me prescription, medicine, and subhanAllah, on the packet, you know what really touched my heart? On the packet it says, وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. And when the dua or the saying of Ibrahim alayhi salam in the Quran, that when I become sick, it is He, i.e. Allah, it is He who cures me. That's a reminder. You're taking this as a means for you to attain that, as a sunnah. But فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. It is actually Him who will give me shifa. And so this boy, some of the scholars said that he was a prophet. But nonetheless, he is telling everyone, no, it's not me. It's not me. oh, I will make dua to Allah. He is the one. And it also tells us that there are some people from amongst the slaves of Allah who are His awliya, His friends, His allies. And these awliya, they only become awliya by fulfilling the obligatory and the recommended acts, and they stay away from the haram and the disliked acts. Okay, this is how you become the wali of Allah. Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah, he said, if you see a person walking on water and flying in the air, but he does not pray, no, he's not the wali of Allah, but he's the shaitan. So some people are like that. They don't pray. They said, no, we have reached a stage where we don't have to pray. And yet you will see them curing the blind, or walking on coal, or doing these things. Know that this is sorcery and magic and has nothing to do with the karama. Karama, all of the scholars agree upon, there's ijma, that there is such a thing as karama, even though the word karama was never used in the Quran. With the prophets, the word mu'jiza was used, but the word karama was never used in the Quran and the Hadith. It came much later on, but nonetheless, all the scholars agree on the concept, if not the word, that there are from amongst the people, the servants, the obedient servants of Allah, that have miracles from Allah to fulfill one of two purposes. Either to fulfill one of His needs that He needs at that particular moment, or to prevent a harm from coming to him. This is the karama. And if you want to know who is a person who is the friend of Allah, he doesn't go around saying, brother, I'm the friend of Allah, come, any dua you want, just make an appointment with my $150. There are so many stories of people when they were exposed that he is mustajabud dua, he used to change the whole city. He used to leave in the darkness of night because he does not want people to know. The true awliya of Allah, they don't go around saying, brother, you know who I am? I'm a friend of Allah. They don't go around saying that. And the fake ones, just like what's the difference between a billionaire and a millionaire? A millionaire, he's going to wear a $5,000, $10,000 Armani suit. His lunch is going to cost, $5,000. This is a millionaire. A billionaire, he wears shorts and T-shirts. That's how he goes to work. Look at the billionaires. Any of the besides probably one or two of them. But here, look at Elon Musk and look at these people. They don't wear a suit and tie. They don't show off their wealth. But the millionaires who want to act like they got money, what do? They show it off by these expenses. And then those people who are not millionaires, they even more so are showing off. So the point is, the people who are the real awliya of Allah, they don't go around showing off. I'm the wali of Allah. And you can only become the wali of Allah if you do these four things. You do all the good all the obligatory and the recommended, meaning the sunan, and then you stay away from the prohibited acts and the disliked acts. And we have the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that my servant he becomes close to me by doing these acts of obligatory acts, and then he keeps on coming more and more close to me by doing the recommended acts until I become his hand with which he grasps with his feet, with which he walks with in his eyes, and so on. We have this hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. So, what was the end result? This boy was killed, but he was successful. What was the end result of these people? They were killed upon Iman, and they were successful. And they were successful. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to you necessarily have to convert. So in your da'wah, in your seeking of knowledge, if you never get a degree, if you never convert a single person, your neighbor, but you've been doing things for the sake of the da'wah, maybe you send them a plate of food with the intention of da'wah, you probably are the one who take out the trash instead of him doing it with the intention of whatever small little acts. You do it, even if he never becomes a Muslim, you are still successful in that. Does that make sense? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all perseverance and patience. May Allah make us from amongst those who have istiqamah, steadfastness upon His obedience and upon His religion. May Allah protect the Muslims all over the world. Brothers and sisters, please make dua for the Muslims in Pakistan. 1/3 of the country is underwater, subhanallah. So please make dua, inshallah, for them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alleviate their pain and suffering. May Allah open all the doors of khair and barakah upon them. May Allah elevate their ranks in this world and in the hereafter. May Allah help them with His unseen help, and may Allah never allow them to be in need of any of His servants, only in need of Him. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen. Also, brothers and sisters, today is Friday, the night of Friday, and please increase in your salawat, in your salutation upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that whoever sends salutation upon me, Allah will send upon him 10 salutation. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.